My good friend Kevin is a Fuji camera user. It's a smaller, mirrorless, less conspicuous type of camera, other flavors and brands available of course, and for a few years now I've watched him with a certain amount of envy downsize in terms of the physical dimensions of his kit. So on a recent holiday to the Sunshine State, I heeded the advice he'd unwittingly proffered over the past 4 years and packed light when it came to cameras. I took this little beauty, one camera, 2 lenses and a couple of spare batteries, and one morning I wandered out across town in Daytona. One small camera, one lens, a few bucks, t-shirt and shorts and my best English accent. I wanted to do something I've not done for a decade or so, just wander up to folk in the street and ask for their portrait. I'd take pictures of any person who connected with me by way of acknowledgement of any kind. Best laid plans though, the only people who spoke to me were generally asking for a spare dollar. So I had to go and talk to them. And these are the people I found. 9 years Nick came to Daytona looking for work, never found it. He was taking his morning smoke just watching the morning traffic outside his retired hotel turned condo. Gave me permission for one shot, and believe me, he counted the click. Like Nick, there were others with a similar story, a gigless musician, a self-titled dollar collector, and Kirk, who came to town 2 years ago, had a car crash just outside city limits and now can't afford to return home to Atlanta. In his words, I'm 60, I'm an alcoholic, and I've got no money or family. It seems as good a place as any to be when you have my kind of story. Phil is a barber in Main Street. He cut my hair. Not that I have much of it. At the end of the cut, he brought out some kind of industrial shoulder massager. I'd fly back just for that experience again. Jenny, just a block towards the beach, works in the town's stitch shop. Big hit with the Harley Brigade. And this is best customer Bud with Chloe, who for 10 years has ridden along with him on a specially designed gas tank dog bed. I met Jeff wandering in long grass just up from the beach. In truth, probably not my best piece of decision making, seeing as he told me to watch out for the corn snakes. Jeff collects cans and sells them to the recycle shop at 45 cents per pound. On a good day, he can make as much as $9, though this was a bad day as someone had cleared the beach before he got there at 5:30. He was the only person in his kind of situation who didn't ask me for money. So I offered up some, which at first he refused. I had to promise to dump a load of cans on the beach so he could earn his dues following morning. Kind of upfront charitable fly tipping on my part. By now, I was in pretty good flow. I was learning more from complete strangers than I have for many, many years, and I don't think that's because Americans are necessarily less reserved than people in my hometown in England. It's simply being able to ask someone a question about who they are or what they're doing or how they are today without feeling you have to tell them about yourself. Brian here sells weaponry of all sorts at the farmer's market, hates guns, though he was rather proud of his Smith & Wesson. That's his wife, who's handy with swords and machetes and sharp things. They're visiting the UK soon. I'm out that day. Dolly, Leon, and Engineer Man, who wouldn't give me his name, though he did try to sell me an old Nikon camera. True Daytona people like Dixie, Shelley, and Faithy here call the visiting dwellers snowbirds. So called because they come down from places like New York when it's cold to get warm. They push the prices of everything up, tell everyone how they should be living, and then they fly back home again. But actually, all Daytona people are beautifully forthright. Conversation gets interesting quickly. Steve here was a big-time bar owner until he found himself drinking more than the customers. He pointed out each riptide area and gave a brief resume of how to survive a shark attack. Noted, I thought. I'll use the pool from now on. I didn't head out to make big art or even social documentary. I just wanted to stretch myself a little and do that thing we're actually designed to do, be inquisitive. And as a photographer, it's that nature, that one nature, that drives us to make pictures and document people. But the last picture isn't even a portrait. It's a picture of Jeff's haul for the day. Estimated reclaim value, $3, perhaps $4.
The more you, as an adult, define yourself as an I, the longer you do so resiliently, the harder it's going to be to become a we.